Welcome to JVology Presents Study Hall. This is your virtual opportunity to eliminate overwhelm and increase results for your JVology gifts. First of all, JVology Giveaway is the largest giveaway in the online business community, the heart-centered business community of the year, led by Canada's own Mr. J Facette. Now, we typically have questions that come in from my audience, but today we have the privilege, the honor, and pleasure of the actual contributors, the authors behind the gifts that you're going to download. So we're going to take a moment to go under the hood, behind the curtain, and learn more about the gifts, maybe the motivation behind the gifts, so on and so forth. So starting with Cornelia and going down and around and ending at Natasha, please introduce yourself and the gift that is available in the JVology giveaway.
So, my gift is the magical meetup strategy. And it's called that because it's the exact strategy I followed in my business several years ago, where I offered a 2-hour meetup workshop and ended up enrolling 80% of attendees. And I made about $8,000 to $9,000 from that 1 2-hour workshop. And so I was hooked at that point. and so now it's structured to share with other people through a mini course, which is what my gift is. It's like a $500 mini course that's part of the JVology giveaway. And it includes there's kind of a back end. It's not complicated, but kind of the back end strategy for how I got people there and the power of meetup. There's a couple of little things that are really powerful kind of tasks that you do to replicate what I did. And that's an audio and it's in PDF format, depending on how people kind of take in the information. And it also has a talk script in Word form, Word doc form, so that people can go in and edit and just take out my stuff and plug in their own information. So they've got basically the structure of the same talk there, because people really worried that they're going to give away the store, and there's just no way, they can follow the talk script. So that just saves people a lot of time. And it's great. This meetup strategy is great because you don't need a mailing list, you don't need a website, and you don't need a social media following, and you can just be getting started in your business. So if you're like an entrepreneur who loves to teach, it's great. And it also, those in-person connections, you can also do meetup online, but they have to be in person. The connections that you make in that physical, when people are in the same room together, the transformations that happen really build relationships with people and with you. And that's what makes it so easy to offer people a conversation at the end of your talk using the strategy I recommend, and you've already developed that relationship and can easily enroll them as clients.
Robin.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Robin Keene, and the gift that I'm offering is called the Klepto Code, which I know it's kind of a crazy name, but it has to do with getting rid of the commitments that don't work for you, picking the right things, and then finishing what you start. And it's called the Klepto Code. Those letters actually stand for each step in the system, but it's basically stop ripping yourself off. Stop stealing your time and your energy by doing the things that really don't matter, and just do the ones that do. And where this comes from is that I owned a music and dance studio for over 20 years and have 4 kids of my own. And I watched this pattern happen with kids of wanting to start and then wanting to quit for any or no reason at all. And parents not really knowing what to do with that. And watching the kids that quit just developing the habit, and it goes on and it affects them for the rest of their lives. So that's kind of where I started. And I have a program called the Quit Proof Kid Roadmap, But what I realized is that parents aren't able to complete that program, and it's less than 2 hours long. And I went, oh, I need to talk to adults first. And I've done a lot of coaching over the past dozen years of entrepreneurs in all different lines of business. And it's the thing that stops us is just the overcommitment, picking the wrong things, and then needing to quit, but not knowing how to negotiate those quits, either with ourselves or with other people. And so what I really want to help people with is identifying what needs to go, and then having the right conversations both with other people and with ourselves so that we let ourselves off the hook and can move forward powerfully and renegotiate with the people that we've made promises, commitments, or agreements with. So the Klepto Code has 6 components, and it's very easy. You just go online and plug in, and you can watch the 6 videos. Each one is less than 10 minutes long. Actually, a lot of them are only like 3 minutes long. And then there's a workbook that you go through and do the exercise that I recommend so that you can get clarity on the clarity first. What are you up to in life? And then a list of all the outstanding commitments, promises, and agreements in a particular area. So you don't want to pick your whole life. That's kind of overwhelming. So just one area. So clarify and then list. Then E is evaluate and eliminate. P is prioritize what's left for you. T is take action, and O is observe, meaning notice what you've gotten done, because that's another piece that a lot of us don't acknowledge is, so what, we send an email. We don't have to take ourselves out to dinner, but if it was a hard one to send, it's at least a, hey, good job. So it's just a series, very short series of videos, and then a workbook that you can download, or I think we made it a fillable PDF, so you can just do the work. And really, there are great results if you just finish it. There you go. Got to finish it. Finish the program. So that's what I'm up to.
Brenda.
Hi, I'm Brenda Walton, and I'm the, can you hear me? Okay, when you waved, I thought maybe you couldn't hear me. I'm Brenda Walton, and I'm the creator of the Worthy program. And so my Worthy program is an acronym, much like what Robin just described hers as. So Worthy, the W stands for wake up, O stands for own your power, R stands for relate with love, T is trust self and source, H is honor your path, and then Y is yes to life. So I have that 6-module program, and what my gift is a webinar. Actually, next week, Wednesday the 28th at 10 a.m., I'm going to be doing a Zoom webinar, and people are invited to attend that. And it's basically get ready to improve your self-image webinar. And it's really going to start to explore some of the aspects that I talk about throughout the 6 modules in my Worthy program.
And last, but certainly not least, Natasha.
And Shadid, are you going to go?
Sure.
Okay. So you'd like me to. So Natasha Todorovic-Cowan, and I have been certifying coaches, consultants, and business leaders on a set of tools, we'll call it the Spiral Dynamics assessments, on our Spiral Dynamics certification programs around the world. I've worked in 15 different countries on 5 continents. And in watching how people understood this work and what they were able to do with their clients and the things that stopped them, one of the pieces that was missing was this deeper way of connecting with clients, connecting with self, connecting with family, really just knowing what's alive and what's emerging within self and others. So the Coach's Essential Toolkit, even though it's directed towards coaches, really is for anyone who wants to explore their own internal processing, how they're reacting to the world, how they're reacting to themselves, how they're perceiving and interfacing with others. So this is a 6-week program. it's a lead up to what we're doing in London. We're doing a JVology in London, and that's going to be followed by Spiral Dynamics Live in London. And we're also doing a Spiral Dynamics Live in Miami as well. So this is a bit of a lead up where people can get to know one another and where they really crack the code on that foundational element of connection, communication, and self and other understanding.
And since I was asked to talk about my gift, I am Shadidi Laser. Those of you in the audience, you should already know that, but since this will be shared, I am a social selling architect. I help businesses put together the people, process, and platforms that allow them to be available for the people and moments that matter and create generational wealth. So, what I will be offering to the JVology giveaway is the recurring income maximizer blueprint. What this is your ability to gain insight from 1,036 strategy and sales calls. In those calls, there are certain inefficiencies that are missing throughout many online businesses, many practices, many service and product-based businesses, and I've condensed them all into one training in which when you view this training, which also comes with worksheets and guided support by yours truly, there's no way that you cannot maximize your sales. Most importantly, increase your customer lifetime value by converting your one-time customers who like you a little bit and converting them into recurring customers and ultimately raving fans and lifetime customers, affiliates, and joint venture partners. So the recurring income maximizer blueprint is your passport, and it's a download of 1,036 strategy calls to boost your sales. Now, when we talk about our gifts, there's going to be many different entrepreneurs, professionals, so on and so forth, who will access the gifts. There are people who are still opting in to download the gifts. So starting with Natasha and working our way all the way back around, what is the main prerequisite that you feel that your ideal audience member needs to have in order to get the maximum value from your gift?
I think there are a couple of things that my quote ideal client needs to have, and that is really emotional courage. Because one of the things I did was I interviewed the clients of coaches, and I asked them what it was that caused them to abandon their coaches. And we did a piece of research which was, well, I'll back up. So what the clients kept saying over and over and over again was that their coaches didn't get them. They just didn't understand them. They weren't hearing them. And that meant that there was like this incongruence. So having the emotional courage to face into what your clients are going through and to face into what you're going through. So it's, both and. That's what the ideal client needs to have. And I think in our society, we really have this phobia of emotion. We're taught to shut it down. We're taught that, some people can express this, but others can't express that. We're taught to control ourselves. And all of that sends messages to our brains that has us wired all wrong. So this is really an exploration of self, of other, and a rewiring of ourselves so that when our brains are in touch with one another, which they are, that we can rewire one another in healthier, more productive ways. And I loved what you were saying there, Robin, about the poor quits. Right. I mean, that's magic, because if you can connect with somebody about why something isn't working for you, in an honoring, clear, forthcoming way, in an open-hearted way, then they can get where you're coming from, so that your quits or your starts or your reaching out or your openings are really as easeful as possible, even in a difficult situation. So.
Brenda?
So my ideal client, or the clients that tend to show up the most for the work that I do, are women. Women who have this sense that my life isn't quite what I want it to be, and I don't know what's preventing me from getting there. And often they don't even know that it's a I'm not enough, I'm not worthy kind of thing that's blocking them. They just know that they're struggling and they don't know how to get past it. But in listening to them, you hear the language in it. So my clients tend to be anybody who, any women, and interestingly enough, on some of my webinars I have had the occasional man show up and they'll say, how come this is just for women? Because we need that too. So there definitely are men who show up, but it's predominantly women who come to my sessions. And because the session next week is very specific, I would say that if anybody who resonates with that sort of worthy message, or I would like my life to be a bit better and I don't know what's preventing me from getting there, to even go ahead and sign up for the webinar, because I'm continuing to have monthly webinars, and if this one doesn't fit, then there'll be another one in September, October, and November that they can catch up with if they want. And also I have replays of the webinars, so if they can't make it to next week at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, if they sign up, they can get the replay of it too. So anybody who sort of resonates with that worthy message, the 6 steps that I kind of talked about in the beginning.
Robin?
Yes. You know, it feels like women are the ones that are overcommitted, but I know plenty of men that are overcommitted as well. And so anyone who's noticing that feeling of not heading in the right direction, lots of things pressing on me from all different angles, and I either notice that I just kind of disappear because I just don't want to, I just want to kind of like sneak out the back door, and I'm just not going to have that conversation, and I know that it's doing damage because I can feel it. Or I notice that I've got something going on around guilt and maybe some shame, and I might feel like isolating, and it could even be, you know, that when we really dig down, it's something that you didn't complete a long time ago with somebody else. So noticing that you aren't very good at making decisions, noticing that you are feeling like procrastinating, feeling a sense of a lack of clarity and direction, and wondering what it could be. I would say anyone who feels that and might have a sense that they're just a little bit off track, it would be a great thing to just explore it and notice if it could be one of the things that's getting in your way of having the life you really want.
Cornelia?
So my gift is great for entrepreneurs who love to teach, and particularly for people who don't want to have to deal with technology like a website or social media or whatever in order to get clients. And the best thing people can do to implement the magical meetup strategy is to actually sign up for the Get Clients from Meetup Challenge. It's a free 5-day challenge happening starting on September 30th in a few weeks' time. And so just review the magical meetup strategy ahead of time is a great prerequisite. And then in the 5-day challenge, we're actually going to take that strategy I described and make it operational so that people will take small steps each day. And by Thursday, Friday, they're going to already have people signed up to come to their first talk. And the way to find out about the challenge is to opt in for the strategy, the magical meetup strategy. Then on the landing page, just click on the link and it'll take you over to the Get Clients from Meetup. You just sign up for that, and then, you know, you'll be getting emails in a couple of weeks with what you need to know to get started.
Excellent. Now, starting with Cornelia and going all the way back around, when you created this gift and you thought about, let's say, Meetup, and describe what the transformational effect will be for the person, the subscriber who goes through your gift and completes it. What feeling can they expect? What will their life look like from the perspective of your gift and your skill?
Yeah, I think the big thing is a transformation around confidence and realizing that, you know, a feeling of relief that they don't have to figure out the website thing or the social media thing or whatever it is, that Meetup has the mailing list you might not have. It has the social media platform. It has that whole piece. And so for, you know, $20 to $30 a month as an entrepreneur, so you're not spending a lot of money, which is why it's great for people just getting started. But then I think the transformation is really around, you know, understanding that they can do it, and just, you know, those of us who love to teach, right? Like we just want to get in front of people, right? And do that teaching and help other people transform. So I think it's that joy that people will really experience as entrepreneurs. And then in these in-person conversations or talks that you offer, you're actually providing a mini transformation for people right there. And there's just, you know, it really brings us right back to why we're doing what we're doing often, is to make the world a better place. And we can actually see that happen with a small group of people in person. So there's a lot of different aspects, I think.
All right. So if someone were to complete the program that I'm offering, and it doesn't take a long time, so just, you know, if you could just get in there and do it, what you'll find is you have more clarity. You'll have some relief from some of the things that you were overwhelmed by and committed to. You'll have a sense of closure, that you finished some things that you had left open looped or open ended. I think that, and then if you take the steps, you'll end up finishing more of what you started, which helps you feel more confident and more capable and more excited. And really, if you've eliminated the things that don't work and are just doing the things that really do work, and put yourself in a habit of always asking, is this in alignment with what I'm up to, before you say yes, then my experience has been a lot more freedom, just a lot more freedom, a lot more joy, a lot more living life on purpose and doing the things that I really feel are important for me to do, and not just a bunch of stuff that I got roped into. And I think you live with less resentment too, right? Because you get roped into things and then you're like, oh man, and you're mad at yourself and you're resentful that somebody asked you and you said yes, and now you got to figure out what to do about it. Just that stuff just goes away. And obviously it's a practice, right? You can do all of this and clean everything out, and then you say yes to the next 50 people, you know, but now you have a process, so you can go back through it again if you need to.
So for my webinar, I'm going to be talking about things like the importance of self-image, exploring limiting beliefs and how they keep us living a life that's less than our heart's desire. I'm going to be talking about past experiences and what that means in terms of our self-image. And I'm actually going to be giving some very specific tips and tools and extra resources on the webinar that will be unique to this topic. For example, the 6 pillars of self-esteem. And so I'm going to be going through a bunch of those things. And what tends to happen is I get one of two things. So people who come and join the webinars have a thirst for more at the end of it. They're like, oh, I get this now. I understand how this is impeding me. I understand why I'm feeling sort of stuck now. And now that they have this awareness, they couldn't really label it before as worthy or I'm not enough, but now they get it. And so they have this thirst or heightened energy to really dig in and resolve it. The other thing that I tend to get is, oh, now I see why I was drawn to you. I had someone just the other day go, look at, now I understand why I'm sitting here talking to the woman who created the Worthy program. So it's just that, and that's why I refer to it as an appetizer. They really do get the flavor of what the Worthy program is and understand it in the context of their best life.
Your program sounds worthy, Brenda. And actually, Cornelia, I signed up for yours, so you'll have, I'll be on that one. So what do they get? Let's see. One of my clients, and we'll call him Bob, decided to play and do the Coach's Essential Toolkit. And his initial desire was to just help some of his clients to go through change, to get unstuck, to connect better with his clients. And what he found was being divorced once, and being disconnected with his teenage kids, he discovered, that his one of his teenagers had been planning on committing suicide, and he managed to get back into relationship with his teen in such a way that they just came back together. And that idea ended, which was great. And also he'd become more and more distant from his second wife, and he said they just managed to, they fell right back in love. They were communicating again, and the fights that they were having stopped because he learned a few things about how he was dealing with people. So I'm not saying that, you're going to be able to save everybody and, build back your marriages, but we've seen some dramatic results with the way people are relating to others in their lives. And we've done this program in the past. We do a live call every week for 6 weeks. There's online content. It's a $1,997 program, and this is a gift for this JVology giveaway only, and it's for this 6-week session.
Now, for the recurring income maximizer blueprint, what completing this journey will deliver to the subscriber is relief, in that sales is often the reason that 8 out of 10 businesses go out of business, but it's also the biggest fear within any business owner, is having to go from being heart-centered and transitioning into sales mode. And many of our limiting beliefs from childhood tell us that money may be evil, or money doesn't grow on trees, and we all have this language that we've been given in terms of money. So what I deliver is fun. I help to connect the heart to the passion for the offer. So if you're able to offer something and reframe that what you're offering is valuable, what you're offering changes lives, is something that you've created out of love and passion for a group of people who you want to see succeed, it becomes easy to say, I'm offering this, but I've created this additional value that will allow you to gain results in a whole new way. So it's changing the anxiety around being a heart-centered entrepreneur and connecting the heart to the business so that it flows as money, revenue, and success is supposed to. Now, going back to Natasha. Now, when we talk about the coach's toolkit, when we discuss the toolkit itself, there's going to be people who come to the toolkit, and you mentioned the $1,900 value and the price tag and the different steps over 6 weeks that they have to implement in order to get the results. And they're going to have some limitations. They're going to have some mental scripts that are going to play. What mindset hack or minor tweak can you advise them with before they get started on this journey that will help them smoothly go through and complete?
Well, obviously, it's not for everyone. The mindset hack is actually when you feel most like running away, not showing up, or not doing it, lean in. Lean in, open up, and examine what that is and show up. Because the people that actually show up get the biggest results. And the ones who are like, yeah, I'll do that and I'll pick a round at it, but I'm not going to practice it, don't get the same results as those who play 110% in. And you know what? I just love the way, Shadid, you're tackling business aspect, and Cornelia, you've got another business aspect, and then Brenda, you're talking about like the worthiness of it. And I just love how all of the pieces fit in just like so beautifully with what we're talking about here.
It's almost like it all ties in together. Now, Brenda, many people who, let's say, are lady entrepreneurs who are the fastest growing segment of the entrepreneurial sector. Those are the facts. When they arrive to the Worthy program, there's a bit of a dialogue that plays in that. Many of our lady entrepreneurs first have a, let's say, obligation or a feeling of servitude to those they love, those they raise, their partners, let's say households, so on and so forth, and often feel that the need to put themselves first is, let's say, counterintuitive, or it just doesn't feel right because there's so much to take care of and so much that they have to deal with. What is the message that you have for that entrepreneur who comes upon the Worthy program to put that to the side and dive in and get results from your program?
I'm smiling because you're actually doing a perfect intro into the R module in the Worthy program. So R stands for Relate with Love, and there are two aspects to it. One is unconditional love for others, which we as women and female entrepreneurs, but also CEOs and executives in major corporations, we tend to give so much of ourselves to others, and always we're at the bottom of the list. We'll take time occasionally for ourselves, but we tend to give so much to everybody else that there's often very little left for ourselves. So the second aspect, first is unconditional love of others. Second aspect is, and probably the most important, is unconditional love of self. So it's not selfish to put yourself first, to make sure that you are your best self. And the reason for that is when you're at your best, you have more to give for others. So if you come from this place of, I just have this loving heart and I want to give to everybody. Well, what if you were an even better version of yourself and you had more love to give and more to offer at your workplace, or more to offer to your clients, because you took the time to invest in yourself and self-care through things like the Worthy program.
Excellent. Now, Robin, the P in the klepto code stands for prioritize. The subscribers of the JVology giveaway are going to be inundated with 50 plus giveaway gifts, all of which can potentially change their business story and destiny. How can our subscribers utilize your klepto code in order to prioritize what they download and how they get the most value from this experience?
It's a great question. So there's a piece here that a lot of us have done, either in personal development or somewhere along the way. of getting clarity on our purpose, mission, vision, and values. But I am going to bet a lot of money that we did that once and it got like put into a file on our computer or put into, you know, a journal, and we've never looked at it again. Or maybe we do every 10 years, but we don't actually have it as top of mind. What are we really up to? What is our purpose? How are we going to get there? That's our mission. What is our big vision of how the world will change when we've accomplished it? And then what are the values that we're putting all of this in a context of? And so I really believe that if everybody, anybody who subscribed knew what that was first, knew those pieces, then they would be able to prioritize the rest based on, okay, this is the direction I'm headed. And then in prioritizing, right, it's the one thing. It's not the million things I'm going to do next, but what is the one thing I can do that will take me there faster? What is it? Is it revenue building? Is it lead generation? Is it my own personal development? Is it managing my money? Is it managing my mindset? Like, what is that one thing that you know you need to tackle based on your purpose, mission, vision, and values? What is the one thing that would be the thing to manage first? I feel like I'm in the Miss America pageant. I've got to answer questions like, okay, hope he doesn't give me a really hard one.
Cornelia, meetup.com is a phenomenal tool. In today's society, when people meet in person, they sit there with their phone and they're on their phone while they're having conversations with people. Being that meetup, the genius of meetup is bringing communities together. We have a world that we live in of which many people substitute social media for human interaction. What is the mindset hack or tip that you can give to help our subscribers open up to the idea that meetup.com and utilizing Meetup will change their business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in general, people are really craving community and connection with each other, even when they've got the phone in front of them. So, you know, it's just, you know, obviously this giveaway is only lasting till Sunday, right? So people will have to go get the gifts, right? So go get the magical meetup strategy if that sounds of interest, so that you'll have it. And then just go to a meetup in your local community, you know, maybe go to a business related one, and just see what happens, the transformation that can happen for people. Now, I will say that my strategy is very different when it comes to business owners and the purpose for the organizer, the entrepreneur holding the meetings. So if people go to a meetup that's like a networking business meetup, you know, it's different. It's different. So probably good for them to go to one that's based on a certain topic where they know they're going to walk away with something really specific having to do with the topic. And then that will give them a sense of that connection to community and that transformation that can happen for people. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Now, for those of you watching this broadcast, your next step is to go to www.JVologyGiveaway.com. That is JVologyGiveaway.com. You have over 50 experts who have come together in the spirit of giving in abundance to create an experience that will lead to a huge business breakthrough for you, your business, and your family and the communities that you serve. You have many different categories, from sales to money mindset to lead generation on down the line. And you can view the full list. You can view the different experts and the gifts that they've provided and learn more information about them. Each of the experts has their own follow-up communication, so you can build relationships with them and get in deeper into what they have to offer. So once again, you go to www.JVologyGiveaway.com. JVologyGiveaway.com and learn more about the 50 gifts that will be available until Sunday, August 25th, when the giveaway will shut down and you lose out on the opportunity. You have the opportunity to gain access to years and years, hundreds of years of business know-how experience, mindset experience, health experience, so on and so forth. So on behalf of Natasha, Cornelia, Robin, and Brenda, I am Shadidi Laser on behalf of the JVology Giveaway hosted by Jay Facette. Thank you for attending Study Hall session number 4. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Study Hall session, where we'll go in depth to increase retention and results and also eliminate overwhelm for your JVology gifts. Thank you very much.